Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel and I'm currently working on a new project, a squad-based game that's supposed to be real-time, not turn-based. And that's pretty much a serious problem I got myself into, which is what I'm gonna talk about today, after the intro. Alright, so real-time, action-based, squad-based stuff. When I started this project, I knew the big challenge here was going to be getting all that squad-based stuff happening and working and functioning and having it real time. I knew that was going to be a challenge, so I'll get to that in a bit because that's what I've been working on mostly this week. Trying to come up with a way to have your squad members follow you, support you, be there for you. That's been the biggest thing. I also had a couple of fun things that we've been working on, and I say we because a big shout out to DMAC on the Discord, the intern. As I'm recording this, it's his last day and he created some extra artwork this last week as well. We added a couple of avatars for bad guys. I want to show you that in a minute. And his 6-month internship is over. He started in February. He did a bunch of the art for this project and he did some graphics for Residual as well. It's been crazy, and luckily I'm very happy to say he will be back for a part 2. Part 2, the intern, the revenge of... No, not revenge. There will be a second part. He will have his second internship here as well. So he will be back after his vacation or whatever he has right now. And another 6 months, so hopefully I'll still be working on this project unless I'm really done with it and can't get it up and running. I might actually start on something completely different, but for now progress has been made this week with the squad stuff. But first let me show you the avatars that DMAC has been working on. So we had this mission select screen already, and in the bottom low corner you see well, your general, your boss, your jefe, whatever we're going to call it, the main guy that is your boss of your unit. But now we have these guys over here, the bad guys. This is not going to be a final spot. I just needed to check if it all works, because we now have a bunch of random procedurally generated bad guys, and it's pretty much a body with a head on it. And those are the bad guys, or at least the bosses of the mission you're gonna be starting. So based on that, you can see what kind of boss it is. Something in that area. I haven't really completely figured it out yet, but it's gonna be something like that. So we needed a bunch of bosses, and he came up with a bunch of interesting heads and interesting bodies, and we'll flesh it out some more, and it can use some more work and maybe add some more of these bodies and combinations. But for now, it's pretty cool just having those bad guys show up right there. So yeah, cool addition, and great to have that in there. All right, so on some of the videos, some of you already responded that the bullets weren't very visible, and obviously I knew that, but I was still thinking about how to do it. And then last week I saw a GIF on Twitter of another game somebody was working on, and they had these white bullet type flashes. And that was all there was. There was no visible bullet, just those flashes coming out of the guns. And it kind of looked both cool, but also very visual, very clear. I just had to add that to the game. So I changed the bullets, and now we have these white flashes. It looks pretty cool. Let me just show you. So here we have the bunch of new bullets flying around, and it's much clearer where bullets are flying, even though there's less visual stuff going on with the bullet, which I usually like to have very visual bullet types, but maybe we'll make some sort of interface screen where you can set up your weapon, and then we can add these bullets and rockets and whatnot. But for now, gameplay wise, it's much clearer to have bullets fly around that look like this. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty clear. It's very visible for a player, but also for somebody watching this being played. You get to see that there are bullets flying everywhere, and that's pretty much the purpose of it. But let's just get to the big thing I've been working on this week, the whole squad tactical stuff. And this is probably the worst thing about game development for me. I have an idea of what I want, but I'm not sure how to get there. So I'll have to create a lot of code to work it out and figure it out and see if it works. And then a certain idea doesn't work, then all that code has to be scratched and we have to start over on creating code for another idea that might work. So You have to go through all these ideas and options and have to figure out the best way and what does and what doesn't work. I don't like that phase. It requires a lot of time and energy. And of course, if you just happen to get to the first idea and it's the good idea, the best idea, that's all fine and great, but oftentimes you need to try out different ideas. So last week we had this whole squad turn-based movement type thing that you actually position your squad by selecting where they should be going. It's very slow and I want this game to be an action game, so having to do all those steps is just not gonna be, it just doesn't work for this game. Also, it was very fiddly to just get the right spot, and I didn't like it. So the second thing I tried was a circular movement type thing. You give the command to move and then you get a circle around you and you get to point to where the direction your team members should be heading to. I tried that. It was pretty easy to create actually, but it just didn't work because what's the base point? Do you start to move based on where you are or where they are? And that's a very different direction. That could be a very different direction. It doesn't feel intuitive to a gamer. It doesn't even feel intuitive to me, and I created it and came up with it. So scratched that idea pretty quickly and decided to try a third idea, and that's just move in the direction that you are facing. So if you're facing north or upwards of the screen, your team member, wherever they are, will also be moving upwards. They will try to find the best spot and move there. There's a bunch of things that you need to consider, because if you're on a room and you're looking up, you might want to have them move into that room upwards and not in the hallway to the next room that's above you. So there's a bunch of things that need to be considered there and worked out and tinkered, and it's not as easy as you think it is, or at least it wasn't as easy as I thought it was. But we have something that's actually working and I'm very happy with it for now. It's much better than the previous two options, like a lot better. It keeps the momentum going of having a real-time action game, and you're kind of commanding your team, and they are most of the time doing exactly what you want them to do. Let me just show you this one. So in previous version we had this whole menu that popped up, but I want to get as a minimum amount of that menu and as minimum amount of delays between you and giving commands. So right now if I press the button to split up my team, and since there are no other commands available right now, it will just split up the team. They will move towards the position I'm looking at. So that's pretty much what I'm working with now. You can move them around by just looking in the direction you want them to go. So if I'm looking at the wall on my left and now give them the command to move over there, they will start moving towards that wall, and this guy should be following, but well, there are still some bugs, but this way we can still control this way we get to control where my other team is going and moving towards, and it also will require you to keep them close and nearby, because you can't just let them out of screen somewhere. You really want them to stick by you. And I'm working on that. I think I'll implement the fact that when they are getting too far away from you, they'll either freeze and just guard an area, and they won't be responding to any of your commands, probably. Except if it's a regroup command, like we can regroup and they will get back to us. Wherever they are, they will get back to us. So that command should always be available. But the other commands probably only if they are within eyesight, I think. Anyway, let's just breach a little room here. And many have mentioned this before, there should be more doors, especially if you're going to breach. So just a little extra here, an extra door. It doesn't make sense as a living room, but gameplay wise it does make sense. So let's breach both doors and take out everything there. As you can see, this I already like this, and this was what I'm aiming for, that coolness, that cool factor of having a team doing all the work for you, and you're just part of the team now. So let's stand here and let's move our other team towards the right. We're now facing right, so they're moving right. That's pretty much what you want your team to do in most cases, move in the direction that you are heading or moving to. And this way we get to kill and destroy everything in our sight, and we'll take a little bit of a break here, nothing here. Let's just regroup, and if we're near them, the Y button will just regroup. You won't show the pop-up menu. This is just going to be a regroup. And this way it gets to be very intuitive and very quick, at least for now, as I'm playing it and testing it, I really enjoy how this is going. So we can just split up there, let them move in that direction. And we can let them move in that direction again. And there we go. Regroup. Move to a door. Split up. And this is all just a single button press to split up or regroup. Just pressing the Y button. And if I want to have them move or split up from me, I'll just press the Y button again and they'll start moving. No delay, nothing, not having to move them or position them anywhere. This is really what I wanted. This is going to be an action game, and I wanted to create that whole squad feeling without going into a turn-based style game. And I think we're getting close to that. Reaching. And they should be regrouping. Let's just move them over there. Take care of that one. Some stuff is still buggy. They should just be shooting him. I'm not sure why they're waiting. And things like that will get sorted. But for now, my main focus was on this whole regroup and whole splitting up stuff. And I really like... So if we want to guard this corridor, let's just move them over here. Split up here. Let's position them there. And we'll start moving into these buildings. And if we want them to regroup with us, we'll give the command and they'll regroup. And we're back in full force. Split up again. Circle around them and regroup again. It's not perfect yet, but it's a lot better than what I had. Or at least that's how I feel about it. So the same goes for the warehouse. We can just move our first team over there. Let's just split up. They will go through that path and we'll take this one. Take out everything we see and find. Oh, whoa, they're really going for it. Not sure where they're moving to now, but they might just be a little bit too enthusiastic. They're already at the end of it. Okay, this was not exactly the plan. They should have just stopped in small phases, but we're getting there. One of the final things I've been working on this week, and also again not perfect, but I had a lot of fun doing this. You can smash or bash these little dispenser things, and if you're lucky, some sort of soda can will fly out and it will give you energy or health back or something like that eventually, or maybe some extra speed or whatever. If it's an energy drink, we'll have to figure out, but you get at least get to bash them a little bit, and had some fun with that. And I want to have some more interaction here and there. Of course, we can already search through some of these crates and boxes like this one. So there's gonna be more interaction, but main focus has been on this whole tactical squad stuff, because that's gonna be the most important thing in this game. Making sure that your team is working as a team and actually knows what they should be doing. All right, you guys move over there, and then he is not coming along. Not sure what that is all about. If this was a game almost done, I would be very worried about all these things, but it's far from being done. So I'm glad we're still fixing these bugs now. And there's a bunch of things that need to be fixed. But if it works, it actually works very well. And I'm very happy with the progress. It's been an interesting week, bunch of progress made, but in my opinion, not enough. I wanted to be a lot further with this game development right now as I am. Many different factors contributing to that. There's still a bunch of stuff I'm doing for residual. There's still a bunch of other stuff going on that doesn't matter for this video. Then there is just the feeling of, well, it's summertime, even though it's gray and dark outside right now, middle of the day. But it just, all these factors make me go slow. And even though some of you are still commenting on my videos, how do you get so fast up and running with these games? For me, I think it's very slow. There should have been a lot more gameplay in this version already. I really have to start working on that in the coming week and figure out all the stuff around it. It's great having these squad members now moving around, but we need to start working on some sort of mission and some sort of purpose, and they need to be able to be killed or shot or hurt at least, because right now bullets just fly through you. There is no challenge there, and a game without a challenge, is probably not a game. Not sure if that's wisdom. There are probably examples of games that don't have a challenge but are still interesting. But this game needs some sort of challenge. So I need to figure out mission structures and build that and get some gameplay going. Hopefully in the coming week. We'll see. I think there's still some time to do some comments. There are not a lot of comments on last week's video. I guess summertime is for everyone everywhere, so YouTube isn't as interesting. But I'm gonna read those comments anyway. Just do it in the comment chair. Alright, I just noticed I didn't have my key light on all this time while recording. I think it looked okay, just judging by the little camera display, but if it didn't, sorry, next week will be a lot more lit. Alright, comments on last week's video. Last week I had some talk about autocode and the PDB Discord bot I've been creating, still tinkering with it. We had some cool missions already on Discord. I think the last one took 13 days, or mission days, not 13 actual days. I think it was a week of missions going on, and interesting. There are some interesting questions there that will allow members to vote out another member, and those questions seem to spawn the most interest. So I'm gonna add more of those type of things in there because it's fun seeing all the action happening. Because somebody mentioned I'm voting out this guy because blah blah blah, and then please vote with me, and other people voted on somebody else, and the result was interesting. Anyway, comments on that video. Are you gonna release Residual on mobile? No idea. We're focusing on PC and consoles. That's gonna be happening this year. It will be hard to actually get it up and running on mobile, so I don't know. Ask me again next year, as I've been mentioning a couple of times now. Regarding the pathfinding, maybe you could add that if you press shift or something to add multiple path points. Yeah, all those things might work, but I also think they would slow down the action. The system I have now is actually just a button press, and they will do sort of the stuff that you want them to do, or at least they will be helpful moving along with you, alongside you. I think that's what I'm aiming for, getting that team feeling while giving a minimum amount of commands and stuff. You just want your teammates to know what they should be doing and do it. And of course, that's going to be the whole problem for this project, getting them to do exactly what you expect them to do. It requires a lot of artificial intelligence, and I have no idea how to program it all. So I'm just guessing a bunch of things and hoping for the best. So that's pretty much how I create these games. I just do something and hope for the best. So far it worked. D-pad was actually a patented system until the early 2000s. There was probably legal reasons why you had to change those names. I'm not sure if that's the reason. It might be indeed the reason that Nintendo doesn't like me calling the buttons D-pad buttons. Yeah, that could very well be the reason, I guess, because I had to call them directional buttons instead, which is so long I can't fit that in the whole interface screen, so I just decided to strip the whole D-pad and just call it left, right, up and down, and hope that players understand what is meant with those things. But copyright reasons could very well be it. Your video quality is top notch, Pascal, always enjoyable to watch. Thank you. I wasn't really sure on last week's video as it was recorded in one take. But good to know that people liked it. I had some comments on Discord as well. Great to hear. This is awesome. I love PDB. Yeah, having the actual PDB bot on the Discord made a lot of sense, and I'm still tweaking it, but I learned a lot about Discord and the API and everything and how to code it. So it's getting better and better from now on, and I hope to have it on the Orangepixel Discord for a long time. And it will eventually turn into maybe an Orangepixel trivia thing, or maybe just post interesting stories and things and pictures, trying to add all that stuff to it so that it's very easy for me to build a community there, have interaction, while a minimum amount of time on my end, because I do still have to create games. Although I am looking for a community manager of sorts or some, I'm not sure. I don't have a very high budget for things like that, but I am looking for somebody who can help me entertain the Discord crowd and make it more interactive. There are a lot of people on the Discord server, but any given time I think there are maybe at most 10 regular people interacting on the Discord, and they're like, we're over 1,000 users now, so something needs to change. We need somebody there to have interesting, funny pictures and ask questions and do stuff and build a community there and maybe stream some stuff. I don't know. If you're interested and if you have some vision about this, let me know. We can always talk about it. Like I said, there's a very low budget for these type of things on my end, but maybe we can come up with interesting other ways to make it interesting for both parties. So if you are or want to be community manager in any type of form, shape or whatever, let me know. Yuki Timmy, sorry, no new names this week. I'm on vacation in Zandvoort. Well, I have a fun vacation. Are you Dutch as well? I didn't know you were Dutch. Yuki Timmy, didn't know. Also, no new names, but hopefully this week you'll have some new names for the game. I still don't have a name for it. And I need to start setting up websites and Steam pages and things like that. And maybe even go the route of a Kickstarter. So I needed to have a name. Desperately. A good name, actually, which so far has been the challenge. And I can come up with a bunch of terrible names, but I need a very good name for it. Very fun video. Your personality comes out more like this, but the camera moving is a bit jarring. Yeah, that's the problem of just doing it without too much editing. This camera moves every now and then because I move the camera and so the camera moves. Anyway, those type of videos won't happen that much, but every now and then it's gonna be fun just doing it in one take and not having to edit it. If you don't have too much time for a video, take a whiteboard and write down your games ideas. I think many people here are quite interested in understand how your design process works. Something like 5 games ideas in 20 minutes. I don't have that many game ideas or interesting. I think that would still be more work than a normal video where I just talk about stuff I did. Now I would have to come up with 5 game ideas. I probably have a list somewhere of game ideas, but now that you mention it, I might actually do a video like that at some point. And then maybe explain why I never pursued some of those ideas. Because most of my game ideas I've written down just never came about. I never even started on them. Crazy. And that's actually it for all the comments. Not a lot of comments. It's been a bit slow on the YouTube in recent weeks. That's fine. I get it. Everybody's doing other stuff. There are heat waves everywhere. There are other things going on in the world. On the other side of it, it's been a bit crazy and hectic. That's it for this week's video though. I don't have anything else left besides check the Discord, hop on the Discord, join the away team, the PDB residual away team. It's a fun little game. Maybe 1 or 2 missions a day, so even if you're sleeping, you should be able to still participate once you wake up. When you'll figure it out. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you next week. Yeah, that's about it. I'll see you next week. Well, I don't see you next. You'll see me next week if you tune in. If you don't tune in, then you won't see me next. This is not going anywhere.